Hey everyone, my name is Chloe and welcome to the start of another reading vlog. So I have found myself in a little predicament where I have 4 days between readathons and I'm not sure what to read. So I just finished Contemporary-a-thon Weekend Edition, and so that vlog is up. I'll link it down below. And then on June 1st, I am going to start the HEA-a-thon. And so I have a TBR for that, so I will also link that down below. So now I've got 4 days and I'm not sure what to read. So I was inspired by, recently I did a tag and it asked, what is the oldest book on your shelf? So I went to Goodreads and I looked and I found the oldest book, did the tag, whatever. So now when I'm trying to figure out what to read for these 4 days, I went and looked at my bookshelves and I thought, I could read this, I could read that. And I decided, why not just go back to my Goodreads and see what the oldest books on my shelves are, and so we can give those some attention. So I'm going to turn around my screen and let you see me going through my Goodreads, and we will pick the 4 oldest books on my shelf. So I opened up my Goodreads, and now I'm going to go to my shelf that's all of the books on my physical bookshelf. So I've got a lot of shelves here, so I'll go on my bookshelf. The internet's not going to win any races today. No. And then I already have it set to date read, but let's do date added because they're all unread. Whoops. Go the other way. Okay, so it looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4 books that I added in 2012. So that was the year I got Goodreads. So these have been on my shelf for a long time. And I don't know, I think this is the date I added them as want to read, not the date that I added them to my shelf necessarily. But regardless, these 4 books have got to get read. So that's the goal for the next 4 days, is to read these 4 books. Okay, so I'm a little nervous about those 4 books because all 4 are contemporary, which is totally my jam. And like historically, that was like the only thing I would buy. And so I'm not surprised that they're all 4 contemporary, but it's going to make it a little confusing if I read more than one at a time. So I looked on Hoopla, Libby, Scribd, and Kindle Unlimited, all those kind of things, to see if I could get any on ebook or audiobook so I could read them a little more conveniently. And the 2 Jane Greene books, which are Straight Talking and Promises to Keep, I can't get on any other form. So I will be reading those physically. And then the other 2, Flirting with Pete by Barbara Glinsky, I can get on Scribd on audio. It's like a 14-hour audiobook, so that's a long guy. And that one was the one I mentioned in the tag because I've been putting it off because it's like 560 pages, so that's a long one. And then Keeper of the Light, I can get on Libby, I think, or maybe Hoopla. Doesn't matter. I can get the audiobook of that. So what I'm going to do first is pick up Flirting with Pete on Scribd and Straight Talking by Jane Greene physically. And I am going to hope that the storylines are different enough that I don't get confused. Normally, if I'm reading 2 at a time, I try to do completely different genres just because I get confused easy. But I'm going to try it with these 2 contemporaries. So wish me luck. Hey everyone, so it's a little later in the day. It's about 2:30, and I just thought I'd get on and update about the 2 books that I chose. So I am, I am 65 pages into Straight Talking by Jane Greene, and so far I'm really liking this for what it is. It is a British kind of rom-com, and I really like the author, like the narrator, she speaks like directly to you as a reader, as if you're one of her friends, and I like that for this kind of book. So it's about a girl who she's been dumped, and she has 3 very good girlfriends. 2 are with people and 1 is not, and it's just their antics and their life. It's very much women's fiction, chick lit, kind of a romance, so I am really enjoying that. And then the other one is Falling for Pete by Barbara Berlinski, and I wish I could say that I'm enjoying that one, but I am not loving it. It is about a girl who, her father dies, but she never knew her dad. Like, she knew who he was and stuff, and but they were never like in contact. She is the product of an affair or one night stand or something, And so she's never heard from him, nothing. But she is I think she is a social worker or some sort of therapist, and her dad was like renowned in that field, and so she knew about him from that. She like, I think, even took classes from him, maybe, I don't know. And now he's died and left her a townhome. And so it's that storyline going on. Her mom is also in a coma, but she goes and like talks to her, and like they say they have conversations and stuff, and like you hear the mom's words and you hear the kid, you know, her words. And so I'm really confused. I mean, I guess she's just imagining that her mom is giving like this other side of the conversation. I don't really know. And then there's also like just 1 or 2 chapters about a girl who had kind of an abusive father who was in jail and out of jail, and now he's out. And so she like ran away, and this cop found her, and it's told from the cop's perspective. And so I have no idea how the 2 storylines are going to connect. Barbara Glinsky is very hit and miss with me, and so I'm really hoping this is a hit, like the 2 storylines connect well. And one thing about this book is it is very descriptive. And so I told you it's like 560 pages, and the reason is because like this townhome that she got, it's like a $3 million townhome. It's not a tiny thing. And we have walked through every room, know every piece of furniture, like very, very descriptive. My other complaint about that book is that her mom, and her dad, they're all C names. Like her name is like maybe Casey or something. Her mom's name's Carolyn or Caroline, and her dad's name was Connie or Cornelius. And so they're like, what? It's not confusing, I guess, but it's like, can you not like change up some names? There's not very many characters. Like, let's not make them all C names that sound very similar. So, if you can't tell, I am in a very irritable mood today, and I don't really know what's going on. And so that Barbara Glinsky book like has already kind of put a bad taste in my mouth, and I don't know if it can recover. Like, I kind of just have a bad attitude about it. So we'll see if it gets any better. That one I'm listening to on audio. So today my daughter and I went for a walk. Well, this morning we filmed the BookTube boyfriend tag with my husband, and that was chaotic. It was like 40 minutes of footage for a 20-minute video, and our daughter is just like, she's just in a phase or a mood or something. I don't know. The weather has been terrible, so I don't know if that's what it is. But I also hate like when people make excuses for their kids. It's like, no, your kid's just being a turd. And I kind of feel like today is just a turd day. And so then we went for a walk, and about as far away from our house as you could. She said she didn't want to walk anymore. She wanted a stroller, which my kid will never, ever, ever ride in a stroller. So, in fact, we had taken her baby in her stroller, and I carried that thing the majority of the way because she just decided she didn't want to. So, we walked back, got a stroller, and then there was constant whining about which direction I went or anything. So, I put in my headphones and just said, and I listened to that audiobook. So, I knew we were safe. I knew we were fine. So, then we went home, ate lunch. Now I am waiting outside of an appointment, and then that's it. So I am going to read a little bit more of Straight Talking while I wait for my appointment, and then I am going to go get gas, and then I'm going to go home, and hopefully there'll still be some time left in nap time because it's like 2:30 right now. So she goes down from 2 to 4-ish, and today the high school kid that mows our lawn is coming to mow our lawn, and he's coming at 4. So I know she probably won't sleep past 4. So fingers crossed. I just like, it's such a pity party day. I need to pull my head out, but we'll see. We'll talk to you later. Hey everyone, it is Thursday, and I don't have any book finishings to update. I have made more progress in Flirting with Pete by Barbara Glinsky. That one is the one I'm listening to on audio, and it's 14 hours long, and it feels like it's 14 hours long. It is just so overly descriptive. It is just kind of boring me to tears, but not really. I mean, it's interesting. I told you there's 2 storylines going on. They do intersect pretty early in the book, so now I know how they're connected, but I don't know all the pieces yet, and I am not going to say a whole lot about it right now just because I don't know what's spoilers and what's not, so I don't want to spoil anything. But That one, I have had some conversations with friends about Barbara Glinsky, and so if you've read any of hers, let me know what your thoughts are, because some of them I've rated like 4 stars. I think I even have one 5-star, but I think it was back in the days when like anything I enjoyed was a 5-star. So I would say they're like 4 stars, but then I've had quite a few that are like 2 stars. And I looked, and this is like my 15th one of hers, and so I have read a lot of them over the past like 5 years or whatever, but probably even longer than that. But I've read a lot of hers, and they're very hit and miss, and I can't find a trend. Like, I think her older ones I don't like as much as her newer ones, but I can't find like a clear trend of what makes them good or bad. So if you've read any of hers, let me know. This one is shaping up to be 2.5, 3 stars, but I still have like 8 chapters left, which is maybe a third of the book. So hopefully I'll finish that today and let you know. Then I have also made more progress in Straight Talking by Jane Greene, which, first of all, guys, this cover, I was just reading this in the OB, and like I get super awkward, and like even my daughter, she's like, Mama, what are they doing? And like, it's just awkward. And this is the only Jane Greene cover I think that has people on it, and I wish it didn't, but that's just me being awkward. I am still enjoying this. This is still just a UK chick lit, very not a whole lot going on, just kind of a character study, makes you chuckle. It's good for what it is. So that's everything. I went to the OB this morning, and I am 2 centimeters dilated, and he said, I may see you next week, or I may see you before. So that's good. I went from a 1 to a 2, and then he did something that that can spur labor, and if it's going to work in the next 48 hours. So hopefully, today's Thursday. So I called my sister. She's going to be the one taking my daughter when we go to the hospital. And so I said, hopefully, I'll be calling you by Saturday morning. So this vlog could get a lot more interesting. So the things I discovered in the past 24 hours, or however long since I've updated, are: 1, I have an extra day. Now I have 4 days. Yesterday I had 5 days. So that makes me feel better. I have 5 days to finish these 4 books. And so, especially with one being so huge, and then physical reading, I was a little worried about getting 4 done in 4 days, but I think I can do it in 5 days. Fingers crossed. Unless I have a baby, then this is going to go to crap. But, and then also I'm at Walgreens picking up some pictures, because I do weekly pictures, pregnancy things. I really hate doing it, but I did it with my daughter, my first daughter. And so now it's like, I can't not do it for this daughter, because poor second child syndrome. So, every page has like 3 weeks. And so I printed 36, 37, and 38 weeks, my pictures. And so I just picked them up. And I just discovered that our Walgreens has a drive-through. And I know it's for pharmacy and stuff, but like, we have our Walgreens right here and our Kroger like literally right there. And I always go to Kroger for my prescriptions. And I have wanted to go to Walgreens because it's so much less busy, but I didn't want to get myself out of the car, especially with the 2-year-old. It's like, I can complain about getting her in and out and all of that, but I just discovered they have a drive-through. So that's wonderful. Next time I need a prescription, I'm doing Walgreens. So now I'm going to run by the bank and then go home and make lunch, and then just like take walks, drink raspberry leaf tea, which I've been doing, but I was told that you have to drink 3 cups, not 1 cup. So I am going to consume some of that, sit on my exercise ball, just do all the things to hopefully make this next 48 hours baby time. So I will check in later. Hey everyone, it is Thursday evening, and I have finished both of my books, and so I'm going to get on and just tell you really quickly about them. Flirting with Pete by Barbara Berlinski, I'm giving 2.5 stars. The synopsis is very, very, very vague, so I'm not going to say a whole lot about it, except that the book follows 2 storylines. One is Casey, who her dad has died. She never was connected with her dad. She knew who he was because he was very famous in the like counseling field, and she is the counselor. She kind of took after him. He leaves her this $3 million townhome, so she goes there and she finds a story that he has written. And so most of the book is her going through the story, trying to figure out who he's talking about, if this is a true story, not story. And he had marked on it, she is kin. And so the girl the story is about, she thinks maybe is real, I don't know.
So it's that, and then there's also the story of Jenny, and she has an abusive father who was in jail for killing her mother, and he gets out of jail, and she is terrified of him. And so we kind of find out why, we find out what she does, and she meets a guy, and so it's her romance. Casey also has a romance, so this is a romance slash mystery slash women's fiction. The reason I didn't like it is because it's just very overly descriptive. Like, this is a very long book, and it did not need to be, and it was just kind of dull. Like, the characters were flat. I just didn't love it. There was a twist in the end that I thought was okay. It's been done before multiple times, but that's what bumped it from a 2 to 2.5. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend that one, but if you like Barbara Glinsky, maybe give it a go. Then the next book that I finished was Straight Talking by Jane Greene, and I loved it. I gave it 4 stars. It was just so much exactly what I needed and exactly what I expected, and so it really hit the spot for me. So it was about a girl named Tasha who is just like trying to navigate 21st century dating. She has been broken up with this guy named Simon, and she's just kind of like falling apart. She's got 3 best friends. One is dating a guy that is like a commitment phobe. One is dating a guy that is just terrible. And then the other is just this huge tomboy flirt who just chases passion and just goes for it all the time. And so she gets broken up with by Simon, and then she's kind of got like a love triangle between some other guys, and it's just really a character study. You know, these kind of books, like Jane Greene books, are not going to be super duper plot driven, but I thought the romance was great. I had a clear like who I wanted her to end up with from the beginning. It had a trope I really liked, which I'm not going to tell you because that would kind of spoil who she ends up with. And overall, it was just cute, really fun. It was like 310 pages. So I got through 250 pages or whatever today, just as soon as I had an hour or 2 of time. So really quick, fun. If you like Jane Greene, if you like British chick lit, even though it's not very British, like if UK authors or anything is like, you're not into that, I don't think, I mean, I think it could have been American or whatever. You know, there's just a couple little things that let you know that she was British. And yeah, so I really liked both of those. So tonight I'm going to pick up Promises to Keep, I think is the other Jane Greene, as well as Keeper of the Light by Diane Chamberlain. I'm so excited for both of these, and so hopefully I can get them done in the next couple days, and then my May will be done. So that's the plan. And today, as for life stuff, today we went on 2 walks. I'm about to drink my 3rd cup of raspberry leaf tea. I've been sitting on that exercise ball and trying to bounce this girlfriend out of my body because she's kind of overstayed her welcome. I'm ready to hold her in my arms and see her little face. Her sonogram pictures are a lot different than my older daughter's. So I'm really excited to just see what she looks like and actually be able to hold her on the outside and not in my ribs. And so I'm very excited, hoping she comes. Like I said, the thing the doctor did today, if it's going to work, it's going to work by Saturday morning. So I'm really, 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 really hoping, but maybe not, and we'll see. The rest of the night, we went for the multiple walks, and we live in a relatively hilly part of town, and so we went up and down some streets that had hills, and hopefully we can just work her out. So we watched a little bit of The Voice, but my daughter, she kept saying, Mama or Daddy, pause it, and she wanted us to read her books. And so I just love that she would choose books over TV, and she does that all the time. So how can you say no to that? So we read a bunch of kids' books, and now they're upstairs. She's taking a bath. I'm going to clean up the kitchen a little bit, and then I'm going to go upstairs and probably start the physical book, and then once my eyes get tired, I'll switch to the audiobook of Keeper of the Light, and I'll just check in tomorrow and let you know what I think. Hey everyone, so this vlog is full of car vlogs, which is really weird, but we just went to the church that our MOPS group meets at because we had to look through the craft closet and see what was there from last year and what we could use this year. So we went and ran through that craft closet, and then we just ran through Jimmy John's and got some subs, and we're gonna go home and eat some lunch. But I thought I'd get on an update because I have not yet today. So this morning we went on a walk and dandelion hunting and just the kind of things we do every single day. So you're probably sick of seeing it, but hopefully walking this baby out, I don't know. And then as far as reading goes, I have done, I've read like maybe a quarter of Keeper of the Light by Diane Chamberlain. And this is the first in her Kiss River series. And so far I'm liking it. It's a little bit slow. And her books, this one is like almost 500 pages, and so it's very long, but it's kind of a dual storyline about a girl or a woman. So it's a dual storyline about a female doctor and her husband, and then also an artist woman and her husband. I don't know, I need to read the synopsis to know what all is said up front, but a lot happens pretty early, but I'm not going to talk about really any of it right now, except to say that so far I'm liking it, not loving it. And then Promises to Keep by Jane Greene is my second physical Jane Greene book, and I have only made it one chapter, which is like 10 pages into that. And the reason is because I'm trying to focus on Keeper of the Light, which, by the way, is a 15-hour audiobook. So when I was joking about how long the Barbara Delinsky one was, this one's even longer. But this one's on Hoopla, so I can read it at 2.5 times speed, and that is plenty comfortable and good. So I'll hopefully get through that a little quicker, but I'm trying to get through that first because on Scribd, it's still letting me have another book, and my account renews on either the 30th or 31st, and so I hate to like waste a credit. So I'm trying to get through this audiobook today and start another one today before my month renews maybe tomorrow on the 30th. So that's the plan. I think I am really good to go on getting Keeper of the Light and Promises to Keep done by the 31st. So I feel like I am going to accomplish the goal of getting all my 2012 books off of my shelf. And so that feels great. And that's really the whole plan for today. Now we're gonna go home and eat lunch. It's a beautiful day, but it's like 82 now, and it's gonna get just hotter and hotter. So it's hilarious. Like, life in the Midwest. Just earlier this week I was telling my daughter, no, we can't go outside, it's too cold, and by this afternoon I may be telling her, no, we can't go outside, it's too hot. So as soon as I get not pregnant, the heat doesn't bother me at all, and we can get her little pool set up. So that's what we might do, and yeah, just hang out, read. I'm gonna lay down during nap time, so that's the plan, and we'll check in later. Hey everyone, it's about 7:45 on Friday, and I am here to tell you about Keeper of the Light by Diane Chamberlain. Now, I am giving this 3 stars. I was really disappointed by it. It was originally published in 1992, so it's one of her early works. It was republished again in 2002, but I think this is one of her very first, and I just didn't like it. It felt very like a new author to me. So this one is about primarily 2 couples. It's about a woman named Olivia and her husband Paul, and then a woman named Annie and her husband Alec. So Olivia is a ER doctor, and Annie is an artist and like the town gym. Everybody loves Annie. She's perfect in every way. She is a volunteer. She's an artist. She's very manic pixie dream girl. She's just like flighty, and her kids have no rules. They just respect her enough to do everything she says, and they are both teenagers and don't do anything wrong because she always has given them the freedom to do whatever they want, and she's just perfect. Everybody loves her. Well, then this shock happens, and she's brought into the ER with gunshot wounds to the heart because while she was volunteering at the women's center, an abusive husband came in and she took a bullet for somebody. So that all happens at the very beginning, and it's in the synopsis, so that's not a spoiler. So Olivia is the doctor, and Olivia chooses to treat her at their hospital instead of life flighting her to a bigger one. So that happens, Annie dies, and the rest of the book is kind of figuring out everybody's history and where they go from here. So Olivia's husband, Paul, and Annie have had a relationship in the past, and Paul loves Annie, and has never stopped loving her. And so when she dies, then that all comes out. And I can tell you honestly, I don't think I liked a single character in this book. I didn't like any of them. And so Paul has this thing for Annie that never ended. It gets in the way of Olivia and Paul's relationship. They break up, and she still wants him back, despite the fact that every time they get together, he just wants to talk about Annie and how great she was. And Alec is a vet, and they have 2 kids, and he stops working for 6 months because Annie spent every penny she had on life insurance, and so he gets all this life insurance money because she's just such a martyr that she was watching out for him and didn't care about a paycheck. She donated everything she had and or put it into this life insurance policy. So Alec and Olivia become good for like best friends overnight. They talk about everything. It's truly just a friendship. But Olivia starts stepping into the family in weird ways and starts doing things that are really weird. We find out more about Annie and who she was in the past, and who she is now, or like right before she died. And we just find out a lot of stuff like that. There's an accidental pregnancy in this book from somebody who had fertility issues, which is just, I won't get on a soapbox, but I hate that, which is why I have not read The Friend Zone, because I've been warned, like, you have fertility issues and then just all of a sudden, oops, one night stand, you get pregnant, which is not really what happened, but kind of. And so, yeah, I just really didn't like a whole lot about this book. I like the writing style because it was Diane Chamberlain. She, regardless, writes really well. I got through it all today, but it was on audio, so that made it a little easier. I don't know. I'm even kind of questioning if it deserves a full 3 stars, but I don't you can't do half stars on Goodreads, so I would give it a 3, even if it's like closer to a 2.5. There's also the story of this lighthouse, which droned on for a lot longer than it needed to. It didn't have a whole lot of significance to the story, and I just really thought this book was not the best, and so that's a bummer. That makes 2, both of the ones, thankfully, that were on audio this time I don't like, which, speaking of which, Flirting with Pete, I need to say, because I forgot to say, huge, huge, huge trigger warning for sexual abuse. If you don't like to read about sexual abuse, it is one that in Flirting with Pete got very, it's not a trigger for me or anything, but it even made me very cringy and uncomfortable, and it is very triggering, I would think, if anybody has a history of sexual abuse. So proceed with caution on that one. But back to Keeper of the Light, no huge trigger warnings, I don't think. Just not her best book. I would say skip it. If you're a huge fan of Diane Chamberlain, stick with some of her newer stuff because she is a wonderful author. I just didn't love this book. So I did not read anything in Promises to Keep because, like I said, my priority today was getting through that. So then tonight I can start something on Scribd and get that last credit before it renews tomorrow or maybe Monday or whatever day, Sunday. Whatever day it renews, I want to make sure that I'm milking it for all I can get. So I'm going to start an audio tonight, I think. I don't know what, but I will update you tomorrow and let you know. I also want to say, as I sit here 9.5 months pregnant in my Eeyore nightgown, that the pregnancy in this book, in this Keeper of the Light, was so ridiculous because she is in her first trimester of pregnancy and she's like this horn dog who wants sex all the time and has no negative symptoms, no morning sickness, no exhaustion, no boob tenderness, none of that. She's just this horn dog, which maybe that happens for some of you. It did not happen for me. And now here I'm sitting on my exercise ball trying to bounce this dang kid out. I think my perspective as a very uncomfortable pregnant lady, I'm like, let's paint pregnancy a little more realistically because I don't think that is realistic for anybody in the first trimester, but maybe I'm wrong.
Hey everyone, so it is Saturday and I really don't have a whole lot to update because I'm doing something so out of character for me. So I went to Scribd last night on my phone or online or something, I don't know, to see when exactly my like roll up date is, like when it rolls over, because I didn't know if it was the 30th or 31st, and so I was just trying to make sure I maximized it. Well, it's the 28th. I was off. So the pressure to like read a book before my month was up is gone. And in fact, I think the last one I read on Scribd, whatever, counted toward this month, so that kind of stinks. But anyway, so last night I decided I would physically read Promises to Keep by Jane Greene until my eyes got tired, and then I would be done and I would just watch YouTube videos because I am like over 3 weeks behind. And so my thought was just catch up and make some headway in that, so then when the readathon starts on Monday, I can hit the ground running with reading. So I did read like 5 or 6 chapters, which is 50 or 60 pages in Promises to Keep by Jane Greene, and I'm really liking it so far. It's a dual perspective of 2 sisters. One sister is married with 2 kids and has kind of her own things going on. Her husband travels a lot. I don't really know a whole lot. And then the other sister is a chef in New York City. The married sister lives in the suburbs, and then the other sister is in the city. She's a vegan chef, and she kind of just is like floating around, anti-commitment, moves jobs a lot, moves boyfriends a lot. Their parents are divorced. Mom's kind of a drifter as well, very like kind of hippie, and then dad is very conservative. He's been married again 2 or 3 times, whatever. So it's just getting to know all the characters. I'm only like 60 pages in, so I don't know a whole lot about them, but I know a little bit, and I'm very intrigued. I have tried to not read a whole lot in the synopsis because I think one of the sisters gets sick, and I don't want to know anything about which one, because right now I'm just falling in love with the family, and I really am. And so I am, of course, identifying more with the sister with the like suburban life, and she's in a book club, and she's just very relatable to me. But that is, I like both characters, and I'm not like disliking any storyline. So really liking that one. I think it might be a little deeper Jane Greene, less like surface level like the last one I read. So that's great. I am really excited to see where that one goes. I'm hoping to finish that today. Somebody commented on one of my videos. I can't remember which. I think it was my Zoom with my sister maybe, when we were talking about the Golden Girls, and they were talking about how much they like the Golden Girls. And so today during nap time, I think I'm going to turn on the Golden Girls and read my book. And that will be like so nostalgic of like night times with Grammy, because that's what we would do. We would watch Golden Girls, we would go read our books. Like, I don't know if I can do it at the same time, but because I love both so much, like I might get distracted, but I think I'm going to try it. So right now it's like 11 o'clock, and I'm going to try to do some filming because as of today, it's Saturday, May 30th, no baby. So the thing the doctor tried to get her to come did not work because my 48 hours are up, and he said if it's going to work, it's going to be within 48 hours. So I'm guessing I'm going to be pregnant for another week maybe, but I don't know. We will see. And so I'm going to try to get as much filming done as I can. So hopefully she'll be like, okay, you got your filming done. I can come now. Listen up, little girl. So that's the plan, and we'll check in later. Hey everyone, it's about 8:30 on Sunday morning, and my daughter's just getting up, but I'm going to film a quick clip to let you know that I'm still reading Promises to Keep by Jane Greene. I have like 175 pages left, and I am really liking it, but it's told from like 6 different perspectives. It's a mom, a dad, 2 daughters, like 2 adult daughters, and then like a friend of one of the daughters, and then a guy like a client of one of the other daughters. And so it's told in all of these perspectives, and it jumps around quite a bit, and there's like one big overarching storyline that kind of will pack the emotional punch. And I think like getting everybody's story is leading up to like an epic like boom moment where all of them come together to make like this emotional impact. But in the meantime, it's like I really just want to read that main storyline, because the main storyline involves one of the characters. And so I really just want to read that storyline. And so jumping around to 5 others is a lot. And it's like kind of hard to stay engaged. But like I said, I think it's all going to come together and be really awesome in the end.
But today's Sunday, May 31st, so I have got to finish this today. My goals for today are to finish this, edit this vlog, and do 1 load of laundry. And so I feel like that's all very doable, and I'm just gonna buckle down and get her done and not get distracted. I may put my phone away at some point throughout this day because that has been just pulling me away from this physical reading, but I'm gonna get it done, so I will check in later. Hi everyone, it's almost 6 o'clock and I'm a little rosy because we just went out for our second walk of the day and it's like 85 degrees and so muggy. So I just thought I'd get on and let you guys know that I finished Promises to Keep by Jane Greene during nap time. And I think I'm gonna give this 3.5 or 4 stars. Like I've said, it's about 2 sisters, one of which is like living this suburban lifestyle. She's got a husband, 2 kids, seems to have it all together. She is a cancer survivor and she has some health issues that come up. And so it's that story. And then her sister is kind of flighty, never really knew where she belonged, what she wanted to do, any of that. And so this book is about their relationship with each other, with their family, with other people. It's about both of them like learning who they are and what's important. And there's definitely some sad times. And this is definitely a darker, or not darker, but deeper, more serious Jane Greene than Straight Talking that I've read earlier, but I still really enjoyed it. So I can't decide if I'll do 3.5 or 4 stars, but it was good. So with that, I have finished all 4 of my books from 2012, and that is wonderful. It feels good to have like those really old ones off my shelf and either unhauled or put on my red bookshelf or whatever. So I have had a great time this week. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this vlog now, start making dinner. And then tonight is Sunday, so it's gonna be Sabbath snacks. We're just gonna watch The Voice and hang out. And then tomorrow I will start HEA-a-thon. So we'll see you in that vlog and hope you have a great week. Bye.